Hello and welcome to Man's Model Moments. This video is going to be a little bit different from normal because I'm going to be talking about something I use regularly now in my streams. It's from a company called BenQ and it's the BenQ ideaCam S1 Pro. Now I obviously use a regular webcam for my streams when chatting as you would in a Teams or a Zoom meeting, but this product has a couple of features that I think make it more suitable for model making than others. So let's open up the box and take a look. Now you do get a good feel on opening the box with the way things are packaged, and the first of these is this document wallet containing things like your quick start guide and so on. But we'll just put these aside for now. You then have this protective piece of foam, and at the bottom this card box. Wedged into the protective foam we have a couple of AAA batteries, which are for this natty little wireless control unit, which is very sleek and feels quite weighty. Speaking of weights, the next thing is this very substantial stand and counterweight piece. This is articulated and features a standard screw thread for mounting on a stand and a thumb lock for the angle adjustment. We can then get the camera out, but to do that we need to remove this piece of spacer card. The camera itself comes corded and with a rectangular slot for that counterweight stand. It has a button on top, and the lens is nicely covered with protective plastic. Next to come out is the lens cover, which is magnetic, so we can dispense with that plastic and use this instead. The last thing to come out of the box is the macro lens, which is also protected, and the overall impression you get when unboxing all of this is one of quality. High density foam, the plastic feels substantial, and everything looks well made. So far so good. So let's take a closer look at the components. The magnetic lens cover is a nice feature, and it has a nice black felty velvet material on the lens side. The camera itself has a ring LED around it, which is meant to support proper lighting, not replace it. The case seems well made and robust, and once again it feels like a quality product. There is a small plastic grommet to the case where the cable enters to help with strain on the cable, and it's a decent length too. This is that macro lens again, and like the lens cover, this is magnetic. The lens goes right up against the camera, and this plastic piece is the correct length for items to be in focus, which is really handy. Next up is that hefty counterweight stand. You can see the camera just friction fits onto the tab on this, but it does seem pretty sturdy when it's on. Here's that standard screw mount for your stand. And the articulation allows you to counterbalance to whatever you want for your setup. This is the wireless controller for the camera. It features a side-mounted roller ring used for focus, and then a number of labelled buttons on the top here for switching between auto and manual focus, point autofocus, muting the microphone, switching the light, and for taking photos. Now being wireless, this is powered by those two AAA batteries in this compartment in the underside, which is also where the wireless USB transceiver is kept, like in a wireless mouse. This compartment has a magnetic cover, and it locates with these two little rubber grommets into the screw holes and just snaps into place. You've an unslip ring on the underside to stop it moving on your desk as well, and these all feel like well-made quality items. Now at this point of the video, I just want to thank all of my Patreon and YouTube channel members. I mentioned that I was going to put this mid-roll in future videos in my prior video on this, and I had to add a few more names onto the list since then, so thank you so much to all of you. Your help at this time is very much appreciated. If you are able to become a channel member, it really does contribute a huge amount to me being able to keep the channel going, and at the moment it's my preferred platform for support. Now let's see it in action. I use StreamYard for my live streams, but of course this is recognised by your computer as a camera like any other, so you can use it with whatever service you like, Twitch, OBS and so on. I've added it here on the right, together with my normal webcam on the left, which allows for a widescreen shot and a closer view as well. Now if I tried to use my normal webcam for a close-up view, it wouldn't work, because it's just not set up to use those shorter focal distances, which the BenQ handles without issue. This means that if I want to show things in detail for my viewers, I can do that pretty easily, as here with this ICM paint. This is all actual footage from my B26 livestream, by the way. This hasn't been contrived at all just for this video. The other thing you can see is that the camera is showing the view as I see it, rather than the upside down view like my webcam, and that's because the camera has an auto flip feature depending on the angle of the head, which my normal webcam does not. So again, no need to manipulate this in software at all. Now you may notice the camera auto-focusing from time to time, as any camera phone will do, and that's because I'm moving about a lot, but generally the camera handles this all pretty well, and with short lags, to the point I've not really felt the need to switch to manual focus at all. In fact, the only real detractor for this camera I'd say is that I've not really found a need for the wireless controller, which is a shame because it's a cool piece of kit, but then not having to use it also means I don't need to use another USB port on my PC, and it's all very much plug and play. Here's the camera used in full screen mode, and it is a 1080p camera, and even on live stream footage like this you get good resolution. You can see painting these cockpit details on the B26 is a decent size, and the camera autofocus is pretty quick and there are no long blurry out of focus segments. That means that I can concentrate on the model while streaming rather than sorting out the camera focus. Here are some different examples, this time just on the desk rather than handheld, to show you the clarity and autofocus. These are my paint chits, which are just 12mm wide, but you can even see the paint texture on them, which is quite impressive I think. This last example is once again from a live stream, and here I want to show you the camera's macro lens features. These are decals from ICM's mobile chapel. Here are the decals with the camera as normal, and now I'm going to pop on the macro lens. This allows us a level of magnification that just isn't possible using most of the cameras, which is great for showing small details, and you can see just how much we're able to pick out here. And you get a sense of the scale from my finger and the fingerprint folds on the skin that you can see. Here's another example, this time ICM's 1/48 scale RAF bomber crew figures. Having the macro lens with the extension tube means you know exactly where to hold something to have it to be in a focal plane. That's really useful, because if you know anything about photography, you know that this becomes more and more shallow the more you magnify a subject in this way. As you can see here, I'm able to bring the figures up from the desk and into focus pretty rapidly and repeatably, which I think would be really difficult if the macro lens didn't have that one very simple feature. Lastly, the camera allows you to easily take stills, which I did with the figures I just showed. This is a great feature if you want to use the camera for showing small items or details and you don't have the capacity to take high quality macro pictures any other way. So that's the BenQ ideaCam S1 Pro. Now Be Creators did send me this for free to review, but I've used it for some time now before making this video, because as I hope you know by now, I want to give you guys an honest appraisal of what I use. For me, this camera has become a staple of my live streams, and I think if you're considering streaming modelling projects or thinking of starting a modelling YouTube channel, this camera should be something you consider. Now you can use it as a standard webcam, but I think that's wasting its features because where it really shines is for showing things in detail, as I hope I've shown here. And if you want further examples, there are literally dozens of hours of me using this camera on my channel now in my live streams. Now I have used the wireless controller, which does need you to download the BenQ software, which I've not really covered here at all. The software does have some neat overlay features for measuring and such, and I did use these on my What's the Best Model Company in the World video, but these are bells and whistles that I don't think the majority will probably find much use in, at least as far as I can see. As I mentioned before, other than that test, I've not really used the controller, as it's really just not needed. Some may find it essential for their work, but for me, the plug-and-play nature of the camera in streaming use, that short focal length and the ability to use the macro lens for extreme close-ups are ideal for model streams and videos. Everything from unboxing to how the product looks and feels does give an air of quality, and I found it to be pretty robust in several months of me using it, which is fairly high praise, I must say. The company did iterate several times about needing good lighting for the camera, but anyone doing modelling is going to be using decent lighting anyway, and I've never found an image quality problem during my use of the product. Anyway, if you fancy picking up one of these for yourself, I do have an affiliate link in the video description below, so it does support the channel if you buy there, as well as saving you some money. If you're worried about my review being biased because of that, I can tell you that I don't have affiliate links for products I don't believe in, and I have rejected offers where I've tested the product and found it just not up to my recommendation. Now it's not a cheap product, and I don't think that it's for everyone, but if you need those key features of decent short focal range video and pictures with macro capability, it's a pretty solid choice. That's all for this instalment of Man's Model Moments. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button, subscribe to the channel for more like it, and share this video with others you think would also enjoy it. You can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook, and if you're feeling generous, then I also have a Patreon, which is absolutely the best way of helping me to grow the channel and produce more content like this. With that, I hope you have plenty of modelling moments of your own, and I look forward to welcoming you on the next video.